Attention!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
Yeah, I think you said it all.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
You brought a lot to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to bring a lot of that. To
Are we rolling yet?
We just started.
What's going on?
Oh my God!
Wow, right into it.
Damn.
Jesus.
Before we even introduce ourselves.
No.
Hello, everyone.
I just wanted to get right in there.
You got deep in there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Film Majors. I'm Zach.
I'm Mick.
I'm Alexa.
And we're already seconds into the podcast. We're into our famous segment.
We're blasting off.
We blasted right. Alexis blasted right in there.
And what we can't tell you what is happening is we're all here together. For once. Welcome back to LA, Alexis.
I know, isn't it beautiful?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm super tired, but working on a short film, script supervising, fun times.
Tight.
Out in nature, less fun times for me.
Where are you shooting?
Like Calabasas, like in the hills,
Ooh.
a little bit.
Oh.
Like some back property kind of thing. Like,
Isn't that where Jeffree Star lives? It's Calabasas.
Why the fuck
why do
are
you
you
know
bringing?
that?
Yeah,
Why do you know where Jeffree Star lives?
That is not at all what I thought was going to come out of your mouth.
Deep cut, I guess.
Why do you know that?
Yeah, no, really. Like, were you
Does he?
prominent on YouTube back in the day or something?
I have an ex.
Your ex
My ex-girlfriend
really
was super
into
makeup and
Yeah.
all of the makeup. There's makeup gossip.
There is, of course,
Yeah.
there is.
There's
I mean, I
gossip
know some
about
of the
everything.
gossip.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Jeffree
TikTok
Star.
was supposed to be getting banned this weekend, right?
I don't know.
Was it? If it was, then
Well, because it passed the House and it's supposed to be going to the Senate.
Well, you know what? I'm glad that they're doing important things.
yeah,
With all the other shit in the world right now.
They're taking
the top of their priority is TikTok.
The real threat to human well-being.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Homelessness? TikTok.
Genocide? No.
TikTok. I can't even spell genocide.
I mean, like, listen, the man can't draw a clock, so, like, you know.
Was he asked to draw a clock?
Someone should ask him to draw a clock.
Wait, who is this?
Joe Biden.
Was the clock invented by the time he was born?
Oh, ageism.
Got him. Listen, he's an old fuck. I don't like him.
You know what? I wouldn't have picked on his age if he wasn't a fucking shitty person.
Oh, I thought I wouldn't pick on his age if I was so fucking old.
Well, you know what's going on for me is I saw a film in the theaters.
Did you?
Yes. Per my co-host's recommendation, I went and saw Wicked Little Letters.
Oh.
Was it Wicked?
It was fine. I had a fun time.
I think the last third of it's very fun.
Yes, I agree. Also, Joanna Scanlon, who plays like the neighbor character who kind of ends up helping with the record. She's so good.
Dude, when she was like, no, I have to have my egg before we start.
Yeah, the cop's like, but you're always so full of energy. That's the eggs.
And then literally it just cuts to like a smash cut to her like having cracked open her egg. You know how like the British do it with like the egg on a little
like
thing.
the
little
soft
pedestal.
boiled thing. And
And then she's
spoon.
finishing up her little, and she's like, oh, that was lovely. Okay, yeah, I'm ready to go now. And I was like, girl, same.
Yeah, it's
Same.
like heading right into the third act. A little pause for an egg. I was amused. I was amused throughout. There weren't a lot of belly laughs, but I was charmed.
Yeah.
It was nice to see a comedy in theaters during Comedy Month.
Olivia Colman at the very end when she's talking to her dad is so funny to me.
Also, oh yeah.
Those got giggles from me for sure.
Very funny. And also her dad, played by fucking Timothy Spall.
Who?
Timothy Spall
Hold for the applause.
of Harry Potter fame. He played Wormtail.
Oh yes, that's why I was like, I know him.
Yeah, there's only 12 British
He's
people.
really
You know
old.
what?
We've established
You know what?
this. Yes.
He played a dipshit in Harry Potter, and dare I say it, he played a dipshit in this movie too, because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that dad.
Repugnant.
Awful.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that she called him a slimy little cunt at the end.
Yeah.
And among many other things.
Okay, that was one surprise I had during this movie. That was something that I was talking to Sloan about when we came out of the movie. I was like, kind of thought there were going to be more C-bombs in this movie.
Yeah.
Did she say that like she's disappointed?
Not just the foxy
No, I
ass.
said that.
Oh, you said that.
Because I was like, just it being in Britain. You'd think that. But I guess it's more of a term of endearment there, so maybe
It is, yeah.
You know,
Olivia Colman was asked on the red carpet, like, what's your favorite cuss word? And she said, cunt.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a term of endearment. It can also just be a way of taking the piss out of somebody. But she says, some cultures are kind of precious about it. I went to England.
I love the word cunt.
They throw it around like crazy, and I tried to bring it over here. I don't get the same reaction.
It's not going to go well for you.
For an American man, I have to say it hasn't gone.
No, it doesn't go well for you as an American dude.
I've seen it in people's faces, like I've said it.
You're not.
But I say it endearingly.
You're not like. How do I phrase this?
Gay enough?
Yeah, but not like actually because he is a little gay.
But he's not gay enough.
But he's not like visibly gay enough.
Does that give you like
Yes.
a being gay can let you being an American gay person, gay man? You can say
being
cunt.
a more flamboyant gay man, I think, gives you a free pass to use the word
something
cunt.
but there's just something about like if you meet someone who's like really fun to party with and they always got your back and they're like, oh yeah, Jeffrey, man, he's a proper cunt.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
but you
did
have
the
to
accent.
do it
You
in
did
an
the accent
accent.
now.
That doesn't work in American.
He's a proper cunt.
Yeah, no, see, that feels
Well, it doesn't
mean.
work.
It
Yeah,
feels
it doesn't
mean.
work. It feels
Okay.
aggressive.
No,
Are we
my,
just aggressive as a country?
We might be.
Yeah.
That might be it. No, my dad has an Australian buddy. Dropped cunt to me a few years ago, and I was like, you feel
warm inside.
I feel so warm inside. I'm so nice.
So I found out that bitch, we throw that around quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big no-no in England.
Oh, really?
Bitch is like if you call someone a
it's
bitch.
kind of flipped.
Yeah, if you call
That's
someone
funny.
a bitch, that usually means you mean that.
Although bitch doesn't really have the same, at least like if you're a guy saying it, doesn't have the same sort of endearment quality that cunt can have.
Yeah, no.
If you're in England.
Cunt's far more endearing than bitch.
Oh, except I love the term nasty bitch. I love it when people call me that.
Because you are one.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, call me as I am, baby. Call me as I am.
Come as you are.
That's what I was thinking of.
But yeah, Wicked Little Letters. It's a fun time. I feel like we gave you a nice taste of sort of the vibe you can experience. Also, I appreciate that it is a pro-Irish film.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
God bless. It's about an Irish woman being fucking persecuted by the bloody British.
Exactly.
The bloody British.
So yeah, if you're looking for a sensible chuckle, go check out Wicked Little Letters. I'm glad I did. That's up there in the comedies I've seen this year.
Nice. Alexis, have you seen anything?
Great question. I am pretty certain I've seen nothing and done nothing with my life in the past week.
You worked on a movie. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's something.
Oh no, I've like done so many things, just nothing movie related, unfortunately.
That's okay.
I've been watching a lot of TV shows actually.
Okay.
So have we.
Yeah, I must admit something
Yeah, we
shameful.
could go into television majors here.
I've been a bit of a TV major lately, and I feel such shame because, as we all know, if you've looked at the title of this podcast, if you've looked at the artwork, you'll know that we are in fact the film majors. We are not the TV majors. And if you're looking for the TV majors, you should go elsewhere.
The age of TV, it's just so cinematic now.
It really is.
I mean,
It's
when
so
gonna be
nice.
some spillover.
When Park Chan-wook's doing it.
Yeah.
That's what you've been watching.
We've been watching The Sympathizer.
Nice.
I've also been watching Detroiters, which is Tim Robinson's show he made before I Think You Should Leave. We watched an episode of each right before recording this, and it made our brains feel really cool.
Yeah, as I said, my brain feels itchy.
Well, yeah, the Tim Robinson sensibility and the Park Chan-wook sensibility right next to each other is really insane.
Yeah. If you're not aware, The Sympathizer is this great new HBO show, directed, written by Park Chan-wook, and
Director of Old Boy. Go back and listen to our episode.
That's correct. And Robert Downey Jr. plays a different character in each episode. and we just watched episode 2, and oh my god!
What do you mean? He plays a different character in each
He's
episode?
doing like Peter Sellers in Doctor Strangelove thing, where he's
Every
cast
episode
as
he's someone
multiple
new.
different characters.
He's always playing the bad white guy
Yes.
in every episode.
But are other people playing the same characters?
No, it's just RDJ.
It's just him.
Oh, see, I have not seen Doctor Strangelove, so I'm like, this reference you have shown me is...
Well, we have
Null and
something
void.
on our table now for Comedy Month next year.
I almost picked it for this year, actually.
It's a good one. That's one of those movies that's like a classic, and you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I have this weird thing. Do you guys have, question for the table here. Do you guys have a self-date night movie? Like, if you're just in a good mood and you just want to sit down by yourself with a glass of wine, maybe a nice little cheese board. Like, I mean, you go all out, right? What movie do you sit down to? Because for me, it's Doctor Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that The Nice Guys is up there.
Okay,
as
good
like
pick. Good pick.
I'm just spending a night with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think The Nice Guys,
It's like a treat yourself.
Who
movie.
Framed Roger Rabbit, and Zodiac.
Okay. So your ultimate comfort films then. Or it's like a treat yourself.
Yeah, well, Zodiac is like a treat myself movie because it's so long.
Right.
So I'm watching it in one of two contexts at this point because I've seen it so much.
Yeah.
I'm watching it because I'm like, okay, I'm taking a night. This is my yearly viewing of Zodiac.
Yes.
I'm going all out.
Yeah.
I'm pouring myself a nice glass of wine.
Yeah.
I'm having dinner.
Yeah. And you can just revel in how good the movie is.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'm very sleepy. And I want to throw on something that I've seen a million times that I know is good, and I can go to sleep.
Okay.
Which I know is not typically what you'd associate with Zodiac, which does have some of the most upsetting scenes I think ever put to film. That Lake Berryessa scene
fair.
in particular is...
Which apparently is like super accurate to
It's
how the killings actually happen.
really awful. It's like really, really horrifying. But I've seen it so much that I can just sort of
What
be
movie?
like... Zodiac.
Oh, okay.
I can kind of fade in and out during that movie and be like, oh yeah, I know where I am. I'm awake now. I'm watching for a little bit. I'm asleep, and
Nice.
get a little rest for 2 hours and 40 minutes. But yeah, those are a few movies that I would say are self-date night movies.
Alexis?
I'll be totally honest. I don't even think that I do movies as self date nights anymore.
Just like
anymore.
you don't do treat yourself type thing anymore?
No, I think because we do the podcast and I like am required to do one specific movie every week, and then it's also like, oh, during the What's Going On segment, we do movies that we've seen in theaters. I find it much easier to sit through a movie if I have to go somewhere and be in the theater. But when I'm at home, I very frequently find myself just stopping in the middle of a movie or like in the first like third of a movie.
Yeah.
I think just because if it doesn't grab me, then I'm like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go get a snack. And then I lose the momentum for the movie. But back in the day, it would have been like Pride and Prejudice or like a Ghibli movie, It's like it's just something that I can throw on and I'm like, oh, this will make me a little happy. It would have been Pride and Prejudice probably.
Did we kill your joy for film?
Yeah, like... well, I mean, you're kind of right. At this point, it's almost like a job.
Yeah, I honestly...
No. It's a job that I love to do, but it's like it requires so much from you.
It has to be a combination of like it feels like a job and also the ADHD. Like I think that in general, I've been having in the last few years problems with like retaining the attention for a movie.
Yeah.
When I know I can just go do other things that take less of time of my attention. I think I just like TikTok or fan fiction where it's like, oh, I get like an immediate gratification because I know I'm going to like this or like it's going to give me something like that,
Have you tried Vyvanse?
No, because you have to have a fucking... I'm actually going to go see a psychiatrist this week.
Yeah. That'd be easy for you to get. and it is.
No, it's not easy for you to get.
Yeah, there's nothing easy to get in the fucking American healthcare system.
Vyvanse is actually like so heavily wanted by people.
I know.
That like they're, I don't know.
That's what my girlfriend uses because she has ADHD.
Yeah,
and it is in high demand. But wow.
So Film Majors listeners,
that sharpens you.
If you have some Vyvanse, go
Give
ahead
it to us.
and email us at filmmajorspod@gmail.com. Send us Vyvanse. This is a joke. This is for legal reasons.
When I get on medication, it's fucking over for you guys. It's over.
I know.
It's over for everyone.
I'm a little nervous.
I have never in my life been on it like that before. I've done Adderall like 1 or 2 times before, and I was just like shocked. Like, do people live like this? Focused? What is this?
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. So it's over for you bitches when I get medicated.
I'm
watch
scared.
out.
I am scared of that because you're already quite formidable unfocused. Once the focus is there, that's
the ultimate test is if you can do a fat line of coke and then just fall asleep. That's when you know the ADHD is strong.
Oh, God.
Because I've heard that about people.
Do you know? I'm not going to comment on that, but I've literally been able to sleep through like a whole concert before because it was just too overstimulating.
That's wild.
That is a yes. That is a yes.
Sounds like we don't even need to do the test.
We don't even need that.
We have received our answer.
Wow.
I love that. Love that.
Well, Mick, have you seen any films?
I have. I watched...
Whatever.
La Chimera. 2023 technically, but I'm calling it a 2024 film.
Yeah, it wasn't released in the States until this year.
It is directed by Alice, I'm going to butcher her last name, Rohrwacher? Rohrwacher. Yeah, it's like Rohrwacher.
Was it The Watchmen?
Rorschach.
The Watchman.
Rorschach.
It's really good. It is a low-budget film, very low budget, $3 million, and they pulled off a lot. Josh O'Connell, we're going to be seeing a lot more from him. I really liked him in The Crown, where he plays the Duke of Wales.
Yes.
And
when they're younger, right? Like in their 20s.
Yes, the younger version of Duke of Wales.
This is the worst version of the TV Majors. This is the worst fucking...
No, you know what?
This is a nightmare TV Majors.
He's so good. He had such a good trending audio on TikTok when that season came out. It was the, like, I will not, like, that he didn't want to be held down by the marriage, And she's like, what about the children? I don't know.
Fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids. No, actually, well, you know what? Fuck the monarchy.
Yeah,
there it is.
No, for real. That's why I'm not watching The Crown.
It's a good show. It's a good show. But he is not like, traditionally beautiful, like a model, but he just has such a cinematic face.
He's been in.
He's about to be in Challengers.
Yes, which I'm really excited for.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
so this was
this episode will be coming out the day Challengers
exactly.
does.
So this is kind of a soft launch for me with Josh O'Connell seeing him in the theaters. He absolutely stole the show. I mean, the whole movie rode at his shoulders, and he did it gracefully, and it was very, very good. It's basically about this very poor and impoverished archaeologist who lives in Tuscany in the 1980s, and he has this merry band of grave robbers that they find these old Etruscan tombs, and they steal these artifacts and they sell it on the illegal arts market. It's just right up my alley.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I love everything about that. The cinematography is impeccable. It's all shot on film. Yes.
Sorry. No, I saw him in this 2017 movie called God's
Own Country. Yes.
Yeah, the queer movie.
Oh, yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
That was a really gay film.
It was pretty gay.
But yeah, I really recommend that people watch it. There's some magical realism elements, has a lot to do with spirituality and the afterlife and all sorts of stuff. It's really, really good. It's worth checking out. And then I saw The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare by Guy Ritchie.
How was it?
This is a World War II movie with a bunch of Guy Ritchie-esque characters, but it's all a Trojan horse Because you know what it really is?
Tell us.
Oh, fuck. I know what it is. Is it a fucking boat movie?
It's a boat movie.
God damn it. Son of a bitch.
I was having.
Can you feel the sea breeze? It's
I
so
was
close.
having such a blast.
I told Mick already. I'm on board.
She is on board.
You're on board?
I'm on board.
Ahoy, sailor.
Ahoy, me matey.
Yes.
Mahoy, mahoy, mahoy.
Me hoy, me noy, me hoy. No, it's Guy Ritchie's boat movie. And I had such a good time.
Okay.
It was, and also it's practically like the set pieces are really big, and also they did most of it more or less practically, and I was really surprised.
Okay.
Like there are some CGI elements to it, of course, but there were some set pieces where like, holy fuck, they did that.
So you're saying it's good?
No, I'm saying I liked it.
Okay, I'm just. Do you
There's
think?
a difference.
Do you think I will like it?
I think you'll enjoy parts of it.
Oh no!
Here's
Because
the
I
thing.
saw the trailer and I was particularly, and granted it is a trailer,
Yeah.
but when I was watching the trailer, I was seeing Henry Cavill's performance and I was like, ugh,
He's really good.
he's good.
He's good. He's funny. He's funny.
He did not look funny.
He's likable.
Okay.
He made me laugh out loud numerous times.
Okay, good.
Alan Ritchson
Yes.
is great. Where he just there's a scene where he completely decimates a whole bunch of Nazis, and Henry Cavill goes, "What happened to those men?" He goes, "Oh, they are in Nazi heaven,"
Okay.
because he plays a Dutchman. It
All
was
right.
great. It made me laugh. It's not a good movie. It could have been really good. It could have been. There are parts of it that don't work for me. The villain is a waste of good talent. And yeah, I like it. I'll just say that. I like it. And it's based on a true story. And there are some people that are complaining that, oh, like, I wish Guy Ritchie hadn't been the one to do this. Like, it should have been like a Spielberg type film where it's a bit more, they take it a bit more seriously. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, who plays really big parts in the real life story was Winston Churchill and Ian Fleming. And had they taken that seriously, it would have been so stuffy, stiff upper lip Britishness.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't want a movie that's fucking lionizing Churchill.
So that's the thing. So that's why I like that Ritchie did this, because it makes it a bit chavvy, makes it a bit brummy.
You gotta stop.
But that's the vibe, you know.
You know what? This happens every time he gets something new. Remember when he went to fucking Mississippi and he came back thinking that, oh my God, I'm such a whiskey person now.
That's true. That's true. And now I'm a gin drinker.
Oh my God.
He's a gin drinker. He's a biscuit guy.
I am.
He loves
am.
his tea and biscuits.
Loves his jam. Yeah, he's drinking tea right now.
I
you
am.
fuck.
I am. Look at that.
I do like tea.
You know what's my
good.
favorite thing about you, Zach, though?
What?
Is that you're so good at moderating other people's levels on the podcast, but you never moderate your own levels.
No, don't need it.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that too.
There's this thing. It's called the podcast filter on Adobe Audition. It makes up for a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked it. I had fun. It was a boat movie. It was fantastic.
All right, I might check it out. I feel bad for missing the last couple Guy Ritchie movies in theaters because
Yeah,
I do love me some Ritchie.
I'm pretty good.
You've
I
been
see
on
all
it.
of them.
You've been on
except
it.
for the Jake Gyllenhaal.
That movie looked
Iraqi
bad.
film.
That movie looked bad.
Didn't see that
What
one.
movie was that?
Oh, it was Afghanistan. It was.
I didn't see
The
that.
Covenant, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not interested in saying anything to do with war.
It looked like fucking Guy Ritchie taking himself seriously, and who wants that?
You might like it, Alexis, because it's a World War II picture.
I mean,
like World War II.
I do love period piece movies.
That's true.
so.
It's a period piece. It's a boat movie. And also, it follows in the tradition of Inglourious Bastards, The Dirty Dozen, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, where there is the complete and utter destruction of a lot of Nazis. That's the whole movie.
Love to see it.
I was giggling like a schoolgirl for most of it.
Wunderbar.
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 All right. Well, maybe I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else? Anyone?
Yes, actually. I mean, I don't have anything. You still haven't seen Napoleon, right?
I have not.
You have.
Napoleon. Yeah, of course.
So how do we feel about Brian Cox publicly stating that Joaquin Phoenix did a terrible job as Napoleon, and Brian Cox, would have done so much better.
Oh.
Did you not hear this?
No, but that's a very bold statement to make publicly.
Yeah.
Brian Cox loves to talk shit.
He does.
I don't know. On the one hand, I'm like, okay, man. Like, Brian Cox, you are not, like, the most prestigious actor in the world. Like, obviously, you were in Succession.
Yes.
Phenomenal performance.
Yeah.
Adaptation, wonderful. But you,
Zodiac.
for a long time, But for a long time, Brian Cox was kind of like the 20th British guy that you call to add a little Scottish. But, you know, let's say from the UK.
Yes. From the Isle.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like the 20th guy that you call to bring a little heft to your movie.
That's true because he's in Braveheart, which proves your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like there are many projects that Brian Cox has been in that are not particularly great films.
Like, why is he doing that?
But on the other hand, I'm like...
It's also such a strange way to call out Joaquin
random,
Phoenix.
right?
I don't know. Yeah, that's very
I don't
interesting.
know.
I didn't think it was real.
To be honest, did I love Napoleon?
So that's why I was asking.
No, but like I wouldn't say that that's because of Joaquin Phoenix. Just because Napoleon's a grimy, dirty little freak.
Since we're talking about it, do you think he gave like a bad performance? You don't. Or do you?
No, I wouldn't say that I think he gave a bad performance. You know, one thing that I did hear, like, you know, like historically was just that, like, the reason why his relationship with that woman, his first wife, was so kind of not liked at first was because she was actually, I think she was a little older than him.
Yeah.
So it was very strange of, him to have done that. You know, like back in the day.
Hell yeah, you little freak.
Yeah, like back in the day,
Nice.
it wouldn't have been typical for a man to have done that.
Nah. You little freak, Mick.
Hey, man. I like women. All right?
God bless.
Hey, you know what? Those people who are like, oh, I want to like marry a virgin. You're the fucking weirdos.
Yeah, that's
You're
weird.
You're a fucking weirdo because what's cool is when somebody knows how to have sex so you have good sex. You want to have good sex if you're going to have sex. Stop being fucking weirdos.
Don't want to have bad sex.
Stop being fucking weirdos.
And be fucking weirdos.
And be fucking weirdos. Yeah. Inside those 5 minutes.
But yeah, no, so it was a strange choice to have Vanessa Kirby and Joaquin Phoenix play these two characters when he's clearly so much older than her. Yeah. And historically, she is older than him. So I don't know, weird choice for casting in general, like just the ages, I think. But I don't think he did a bad job.
I guess my final 2 cents on the Brian Cox thing is, everyone's very PR conscious, Nobody's really talking shit anymore these days.
Yeah.
I think it's a little refreshing.
It is nice.
That there's an actor who's willing to just be like, no, I think he sucked. I think he sucked. One of my favorite directors of all time, John Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
Was like, there's a famous interview of him talking about Spielberg, where he's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like his movies. I think he's kind of a hack and he sold out after he made Jaws, which is pretty good. And like, same thing with talking about David Cronenberg. He's like, I liked a lot of his earlier stuff, like Shivers. I thought that stuff was really scary, but, now he thinks he's an art director. So, and to be clear, I love both Steven Spielberg and David Cronenberg. Yeah. But I love that John Carpenter's an ornery bastard talking shit about them.
Just as a side note, if we're talking about talking shit, J-Lo back in the day said a bunch of stuff about a bunch of actresses, like back in I want to say the late 90s after she was coming off of Selena and thought she was, the best thing that ever happened to the world. But she came out with that, what was it, a documentary, and people have just been dragging this woman across the internet.
Yeah, what is that?
And
I need to see that.
I don't, I don't feel one way or the other about J-Lo, but I just think it's really funny that interview in particular that she did way back in the day just keeps coming to bite her in the ass. You know, it just keeps coming back. It's haunting her.
That's the risk of talking shit.
When people bring up why they don't like J-Lo, it's always like, oh, she talks shit on Selma Hayek. Who talks shit on Selma Hayek? She talks shit on fucking, you know, just like hella people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
apparently her documentary is not great.
It's like a visual album. I'm pretty sure it's This Is Me.
Okay, but
now.
wait. There was like, it's like something like the greatest love story never told. And I think I saw a clip where like somebody was talking about Ben Affleck and how he was like, but if you tell it, then it has been told.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just like some of the clips that I've seen, like him interacting with her is just so funny.
I mean, another all-time shit talker, the Armageddon commentary by Ben Affleck.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, you've got to listen to it. It's incredible.
I've never actually seen Armageddon all the way through.
Watch his commentary.
Really?
It's so good.
Oh my God.
You know, I once asked Michael why it would be easier to train oil drillers to be astronauts than the other way around, and he told me to shut the fuck up. So, like, that is, he just,
I believe it.
is cackling about how stupid the premise of Armageddon is for like a solid 5 minutes. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But
Is
yeah.
that the premise of Armageddon?
Yes.
You didn't know?
Bruh, like I only ever like saw that on TV, like caught the last like 10 minutes of it.
You and I had different dads because anytime that was on TV, it stayed on.
Well, I had a Tom Cruise dad.
Yeah, that's respectable.
I had
I
a
support that.
Cocktail and Top Gun dad.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Wine and Armageddon.
Did you ever
And Jerry Maguire.
watch Days of Thunder?
No.
Really?
No.
And your dad was a car guy. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that he's a car guy, but he's not like a car guy in like how you're a car guy. Like my dad actually raced cars.
So he's a real car guy.
He was a real car guy. Like he raced
So my
cars.
dad's not a poser.
Like you.
You're a poser.
Okay, so Mick, what did you think about this Brian Cox comment? Because you brought it up.
I just thought it was funny, and I really liked Joaquin Phoenix's performance. But then I started to think about it, and I started feeling gaslit. I was like, "Wait a minute, was that a bad
Was it
performance?"
good?
Listen, don't let Brian Cox sway you.
I like it. You should watch it,
Brian
Zach.
Cox is a shit talker. I
know
will
what?
watch Napoleon at some point.
I will say this for Napoleon. He really did commit to being a freaky little bastard because I will never watch that movie again just because I never want to see Joaquin. Yeah, I never want to see Joaquin Phoenix fucking jackrabbiting a woman ever again. Please don't do it to me.
Well,
no one hire him to do
who
that.
knows?
Please stop.
We're about to get Joker 2. We don't know what's going to happen in that.
I'm a little excited.
I'm super excited.
I'm
Lady
gonna see
Gaga's
that.
in it.
Yeah.
I did actually,
As Harley Quinn?
I probably can't say that. Never mind. Do we have anything else?
One other thing I'll say is I saw a trailer for a new movie that I'm really excited for. Viggo Mortensen is writing and directing his Western.
Yeah.
The Dead Don't Hurt. Coming out May 31st. I can't wait. I'm excited to see it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's it, I say we hop out of what's going on.
Hippity hop.
A little pitchy.
Now you don't have to do it.
we
I was about to say
already
a little
did.
flat.
So we are here. We are at our final big topic
This is it.
of Comedy Month. And what I thought we could get into a little bit of a discussion of is what are some of our favorite final lines of dialogue in a movie?
I'll go first unless anyone else has anything.
Go ahead.
You know what, Kirchberg? This might just be my masterpiece.
Yeah, that's a
Inglourious
good one.
Bastards.
That's a really good one.
I think that's my favorite. I mean, that's one of those last lines of dialogue where the whole movie's really good. And then you get that moment, and the way it's delivered is just, and then it goes to credits, and I go, that is a perfect fucking film.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that's Tarantino really calling his shot there.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's kind of, I hate to use...
Don't let that man in this door.
Sorry, I just had to lock the door.
I hate to be...
Quentin's got a lot of free time because he decided he's not making the movie critic anymore.
That's right. He's not making the movie critic.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad because I thought we were going to get Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt together.
Well, it makes me sad because it means he's going to have a lot more time to come hang out in this apartment. He's really excited about Boat Month. He's been texting me about it.
Oh my God. Can you imagine a Quentin Tarantino boat movie?
You know, like, why have shoes on a boat? You know?
Exactly.
You gotta let the puppies breathe.
All those sailors are letting those dogs out for a walk.
Oh my God, he's just rattling at the door.
But it's true. Like, that last line is like kind of meta. Where it's like, is that Tarantino talking about his own movie? Or is that the character talking about, carving a swastika on someone's forehead?
Good one.
Anyone else?
I have one, but
sure, go
do you
ahead.
have one?
You don't have one, do you?
You know what? I do actually, but I was like, why is this the first thing that came to? Well,
what is it?
One other thing came to my mind first, but I'll save that for last. But it was Gone with the Wind when I saw it the other day in theaters.
I was going to say that one. Yeah.
I was like, you know what? To be honest, I'm like, say whatever fucking problems that movie does have. It is very. What would we call that? Even inspirational? Like at the very end, where it's her
call it a masterpiece.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know.
What's the line?
Anyways, she decides that she's going to get her husband back, but she's like fucking like can't figure out how the fuck she's gonna do it, and so she kind of like goes back to this staircase after he says the famous line, "Frankly, my dear, I just don't give a damn about whatever."
Yep.
And then she says, "No, you know what? I'm gonna go home." And then the last line is, "Because tomorrow is another day."
Yeah.
Like basically like that you can carry on at any point past whatever happens to you because tomorrow is another day. Whatever happens to you, you can always move forward, I think is kind of what it is.
You know why I've always loved that line is because Scarlett O'Hara, and we talked about this when you watched it, is kind of evil.
Yeah.
Like she's an evil woman. And so when she kind of looks,
I don't think that she's evil. I just think that she's super selfish.
She's super selfish. She's very ambitious and she will do what she needs to do to get what she wants.
Yeah.
And when she kind of plays that last line to camera nearly, it in a way when she says, "And tomorrow is always another day," in a way it almost feels like her brain is broken a little bit. And it's almost like a warning. I like it because to me, it's like the engine of Scarlett O'Hara will never stop because the whole movie, it's like, 4 hours of 4 hours of this huge odyssey of all of this stuff, this horrible stuff that happens to her, and she will never give up. It's kind of, it's imposing. It's almost intimidating. I've always liked that line because of it.
Her face.
She's fierce.
She just has had the most beautiful eyebrows, and it just makes every expression that she makes very visceral, and especially then when she's like looking to camera. But I mean, like at the break, she, right before intermission, she basically claims like, we'll never be hungry again. I'll never be hungry again. I'll never want for anything again. Right. And then she does get everything she wants. And I think she kind of becomes a little complacent in her life. And then and you're right. I wouldn't say that she's evil, just that she's so selfish that she's kind of like unsavable as a character in some ways. But the fact that she loses what she realizes is the only important thing to her, which was her marriage to somebody who was her equal in a lot of ways. I think she remembers, kind of like reflects back on like, from the intermission of like, I'm going to make it, I'm going to feed myself. I'm going to feed my family. I'm never going to go hungry again. And I think there's just like a lot of power in tomorrow is another day because I can always make something happen for myself. No matter what it is, I can conquer it. And in some ways, I'm like, are you an icon?
This is that's such a deeper take than the final line that I have, but God damn it, it's a good one.
Go ahead.
I'm having an old friend for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
That's so good.
Silence of the Lambs.
I cackle every single
No, that's
time
great. Yeah. That's great.
when I watch Silence of the Lambs. Also, in the same vein, Psycho. Why, she wouldn't even hurt a fly.
Yeah.
I like a creepy little line to go out on.
Well, no, that's
the
a very...
usual. I hate to say it, but The Usual Suspects as well. And
Yes.
like that,
He's gone.
he's gone.
Yeah, no, that's a really. Those are all really good ones.
Something that leaves me a little unsettled. I tend to enjoy.
What I like about that is, like, you know, I think the best horror films, I think...
This is a Del Toro thing, right?
Yeah, where his theory is, like, the best horror films, at least to him, are movies that make you feel dread going to the end credits.
Yes.
Like I feel worse after seeing how that ends. And so having a line like, I'm having a friend for dinner, or he wouldn't even hurt a fly.
The thing as well. How about we just sit here and see what happens?
It just takes the wind out of you. Like, fuck, man, this ain't over. It's just far from being over. This is just a fucking beginning, man. Okay. Game over, man.
Okay. Speaking of, this is just the beginning. At the end of Pride and Prejudice.
Here we are.
Speaking of dread.
Which was literally the first thing that I did think about, but I was like, I can't possibly.
You can't start with that.
What's the end line of that? Is it Mrs. Darcy? Is that like the last line?
It is. Okay, but what comes right before that, going into it, is what's important. Which is the fact that, you know, they're having like this like discussion about like blah, blah, blah. Like,
it's important.
She says something like, he was like, oh, what endearments am I allowed to call you, you know? And she says, oh, like my love, my pearl for Sundays. And then he's like, what should I call you when I'm cross? And he's like, Mrs. Darcy. And she says, no, you may only call me that when you are perfectly and incandescently happy. And then he says, Mrs. Darcy, and he kisses her like 3 or 4 times, right? On like the forehead. And like,
Alexis is blushing.
It's like the first time that these characters actually have like an intimate scene like that, where they actually like kiss, and you get that right at the very end. But it's just the way that he says it. Like, because she says like, oh, only call me that when you were so fucking happy that nothing else matters. And then he says it like 4 times. And I'm like, they're going to be so happy together. I don't want to know if they're not.
Yeah, and you get to see Mr. Darcy's feet for the first time in the whole film.
That's true. Not only his feet, you get to see that man's calves.
Yeah.
I got to see that man's calves.
He's showing his ankles, which is unbecoming of a gentleman.
God, it's like I'm gonna have to barricade this door to keep Quentin out. You guys are baiting him.
Yeah.
Should I take my socks off?
No, don't do it.
No. Oh God.
Oh God. Mick, do you have any other ones?
Not really, Alexis. You said you had another one.
That was it. That's fine.
I have one other one that I really love, which is it's a 2-hander because it's a two different characters.
Calm down, Alexis.
Tarantino got me all jazzed up.
I didn't say 2-footer.
2-footers.
Look, Osgood, I'm a man. Nobody's perfect.
Oh yeah.
From Some Like It Hot.
Yeah, that's good.
That might be my favorite final line from any movie because it's such a big laugh.
Yeah.
To go out on. But you know what else has a pretty big laugh to go out on?
Well, is this a segue?
I was gonna segue.
Oh, right, segue.
It's a pretty good one.
All right, go for it.
That would be 1985's Clue, directed by Jonathan Lynn. Which stars Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, Michael McKean, Colleen Camp, Christopher Lloyd, etc.
Huge cast.
All right, and the description. By the way, this description is like semi-illiterate, so brace yourselves.
Okay.
6 blackmail victims are invited to an isolated mansion by a man who knows a dark secret from each of their pasts. On arrival, each is given a pseudonym drawn from Cluedo before being introduced to the blackmailer. Each is handed a weapon, at which point the lights are switched off and the blackmailer is killed. Can the guests uncover the murderer before they all become victims? What is Cluedo?
It's so fun. Cluedo is what Clue is called in England.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
That's why?
That's why it's called Cluedo.
The names are drawn from... That's not a part of the plot of the movie, though. The game Clue does not exist within the narrative of this movie.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like, they never reference the board game.
I mean, they do with the weapons I use the revolver in the hall.
The setup of the movie, like, references the board game, but the characters themselves are not existing in a world in which they are aware of the board game Clue.
No.
So it's weird that's... Anyway, I really like this movie. Guys, what's y'all's relationship to this?
What's y'all's relationship?
Alexis?
Well, goddamn. Alexis, take it away.
Okay. So my long-term situationship, this was one of his favorite like childhood movies. So
really,
he showed it to me originally, like, I don't know, maybe like 5-6 years ago. So it was very strange because then, like, when we played the movie, when I watched the movie again, or like thought about watching the movie again for this, I was like, it just made me think of him, and I was like,
No.
All right. Well,
I'm like, I have a complicated relationship with Clue for some reason.
So you had a long-term situationship.
Who loved Clue?
I think. Are we not going to pack that a little bit?
I'm sorry, do we have time?
On the podcast?
Listen, we got all the time we need.
We got the whole episode,
We're
baby.
only 45 minutes in. This could go for another hour 15
Oh my
at
god,
least.
no. That's all that I need to unpack is just the fact that felt fucking weird to watch it again.
Did they constantly, like, reference Clue? Like, did they like, throw that around, like, in conversation a lot? So when you finally saw it, you're like, oh, I should call him.
No. No. Absolutely not.
But... to be clear, you do like this film.
Yes.
Yes, because I remember very distinctly that they were like, he was like, oh, you've never seen this before? And I was like, no, like, was it that big of a deal? And then he was like, yeah, of course it's a big deal. Anyways, and then we watched it, and I was like, oh, that's a really good movie. I fucking love Tim Curry. Oh, I have a side note about this. So I did watch this with and roommate.
Nice.
What did roommate think?
You know what's so funny? And roommate was like, I'm sorry, Tim Curry?
Oh my god. Of course.
Kind of hot. And I was like, right?
Oh my god.
That's honestly... okay. Oh, okay.
That's the right take.
Side note, on a side note, Sloan and I were watching Love is Blind.
Ugh.
And I was like, you know who would do well on this show is Paul Giamatti, because he's got a great personality, but he looks funky. And Sloan was like, I think Paul Giamatti's kind of hot. And I was like, that's such an awesome take.
Wow.
But also kind of hurts my feelings.
Yeah. I got a lot just happened just now.
Too, because as soon as you said that, I was like, huh.
And she was
what are you saying? Do you think he looks like Paul Giamatti?
I was like, huh, can I see a little Paul Giamatti in there? Maybe.
And then she was like, he's funny, and that does a lot. And I was like, I understand.
No, that's so true. That's so true. Being
all right,
funny,
it doesn't have to be that true, Alexis.
Being funny can make up for quite a lot.
All right,
Alexis.
Not every.
You're hurting the man.
Okay, all right. We don't have to keep going on how much being funny can make up for. No, it doesn't have to make up for that much.
I'm also not saying that Paul Giamatti is an unattractive man. I'm sure when he was younger, he was more attractive.
It's no longer the issue here, but that's fine.
That's not the issue. The issue is, like, look, what we should be saying is being funny is very attractive. So men, women that are listening to this, it doesn't have to make up for anything. It can, just being funny is fantastic, and it will get you laid.
I will say
it's proven.
though,
science proved it.
Is that if you're not funny, you shouldn't get laid.
Listen, if you're a listener to this show and you've never met me in life, I just want you to know that I'm very physically attractive.
He's a specimen.
Just a stud.
He's a specimen.
My golden boy.
Mick, what's your relationship to Clue?
My relationship to Clue is... I don't even know my relationship to Clue, really. Like, I saw it a couple years ago, I think, and I liked it, and...
was it a couple years ago?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
No, I did not grow up with this movie.
So, I didn't hugely grow up with this movie. This was a movie that I found there was a period of time when I was living with my mom where we like didn't really have a TV. We just kind of had a computer, like a big monitor. And we were watching Netflix a lot. It was like, I don't know, maybe 2013, something like that. Anyways, and I think there was some night where I might have been by myself or something, but was just browsing Netflix, and I was like, there's a movie of Clue. Right. And I played the board game Clue so much as a child.
I did too. That was like my game.
I loved Clue as a child, and I was always really angry during Clue because I would play Clue with my dad or my mom and Edwin would always fucking win at Clue. And I would always lose at Clue because I was I was all right, okay, yeah, no, okay. This is just fuck Zach on this episode, I guess.
It's okay, you're fine.
But anyways, but
Edwin's very clever.
Yeah, Edwin's a smart guy. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. I liked the game Clue, is my point. And when I saw the movie on Netflix, I was intrigued. And I was delighted when I watched it because I was like, this is both an incredible comedy and a genuinely compelling mystery. It is a mystery that has 3 like actually good resolutions. And
specifically 3, yes.
A twist that I fully didn't see coming the first time I watched this. That the cook and Yvette are in on the plot. I think that's kind of a good twist.
But you know what's so funny? To this day, I've never even thought about the mystery.
You never think about the mystery?
It's only comedy to me.
See, I think about this in the same like breath that I think about Scream, in that it is something that is sending up a genre, but is also a excellent example of the genre.
You're not wrong. But yeah, every time I watch it, when it gets to the big conclusion of it, I'm like, okay, that's... I'm never interested in who's the murderer. I'm always like, what's the next gag?
I mean, it's both for me. I don't think I would like this movie as much if it didn't have that mystery element, because I love a mystery. Mystery March was one of my
that's right
suggestions for Audience Select Month. I was a little sad it didn't get picked. Quite frankly.
I was devastated.
But you know, I was
happy,
and I was happy Mick was devastated.
Fucking just ruined.
Shut up! You were fine.
Terrible.
Alexis feeling some kind of way.
Can I have a confession corner?
What?
Confess your sins, my child.
I totally fell asleep in the middle of the movie last night.
Again.
I'm so sorry.
God.
I know.
You're America's sleepiest girl.
I know. I think it's just I get so high nowadays. All the time. I don't know. I'm so comfortable on the couch when I watch a movie. I don't know if I'm okay. You know what's funny is that like
high
I can
right now?
I know I'm not. I can stay awake until like 2 or 3 in the morning, like reading a fan fiction or something like that. But I can't stay awake for like a 2-hour movie if I'm laying down.
Then sit up.
Why would I sit up?
Well, so you gotta talk about it on the podcast.
I was sitting up. Well, actually, I would say I was leaning over.
You were leaning. This is a conversation I consistently have with Sloan. Is just don't assume the sleeping position, and you won't fall asleep.
I can't help it. I want to be comfortable wherever I go. No, I must be comfortable wherever I go. That's why I bring blankets with me to other people's houses.
Is this 2 in a row now? 3?
What was the last one?
The last one? You were asleep. You don't remember.
No, you were awake during To Wong Fu.
You were awake for that. Or did you, be honest, did you fall asleep?
I think there was a brief, like maybe 5 minutes. But it was very short. It was very short.
Maybe don't smoke weed when you're doing an episode movie. What do you think about that?
No,
it's not an option.
You know, living life is generally very hard sometimes.
I'm not going to tell you not to smoke weed because I definitely enjoy a nice glass of wine when covering a film.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't drink at all. Like not like unsocially, like at home by myself. I don't drink at all.
Yeah,
so
I don't smoke weed. So
yeah,
we all have our thing.
Yeah,
I drink tea.
Whatever. That's the worst of these things. You know who had an incredible 1985?
Oh, my God.
You know who had an incredible 1985?
Tim Curry.
Christopher Lloyd.
Oh.
This came out the same year as Back to the Future.
Which one's Christopher Lloyd?
Christopher Lloyd plays Professor Plum.
Oh, me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you.
It's me.
I was telling.
one.
So when I watched this earlier with you today, I've seen it twice for this episode. I stayed awake for all of it.
How's bragging camp going?
It's great, and I love it here. I think that Professor Plum is MVP of this film.
Okay.
Like, Tim Curry is fantastic. He is 100% team captain. But every time there is a shot where it's just the reaction of characters, and you're often told, like in theater, like just because you don't have a line of dialogue doesn't mean you have to stop acting, and you shouldn't. Christopher Lloyd embodies that practice.
Who was the guy who was the cop at the end? Or
Michael McKean.
Oh yeah,
Michael
Mr.
McKean?
Green.
God, he was cute. He took off his glasses, and I was like,
Oh my god.
why does that work?
That's the guy from Spinal Tap.
I don't know that.
It
movie.
is, I'm telling you.
Well, great.
I'm giving you facts.
He's very funny. I agree. Okay,
That wasn't what I said, but okay.
Well, I'm gonna go that way, just because he is the impetus for this episode's big topic. Because this is a movie with alternate endings. I watched the version where you see all of the endings back to back.
Right.
Oh yeah, me too.
As previously stated, all of the characters come to this manor to meet the man who's been blackmailing them. And the movie's set in the 1950s, and Mr. Green's big secret is that he works for the State Department and he's gay. And in the third alternate ending, you find out that he's actually in the FBI here to bust Tim Curry, who reveals himself to be Mr. Body, the blackmailer.
Right.
And as he's about to leave the house, he goes, "I'm gonna go sleep with my wife."
Oh yeah. That's
Freeze frame kills me every single time.
Yeah, that's
the
good.
Self-satisfaction
the expression he's making. Yeah.
With "I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife" kills me. He's so funny, but. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd.
He is so funny in this. He has some of my favorite lines where they talk about how there's this, I run this little business where you call and, for a short time you get the good company of a lady. He goes, "Really? What's the number?" And begins to write it down.
Yeah.
Or then when Madeline Kahn's like, "Oh, no one can go that position." He goes, Sure they can.
Let me show you.
And immediately puts her in the position.
This is also the second movie we've talked about that features a wonderful Madeline Kahn performance.
That's right. Last year was Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
She is flames on the side of my face, burning, heaving breaths.
So that is the only part of the movie that is ad-lib. Everything else is scripted.
I believe
That's crazy.
And it was just so funny. They're like, you know what? We don't really know what to write for this. So Madeline all right, we're rolling camera, go for it. And that's what she did. Just flames. Just flames. Like, that's all she could do.
Flames on the side of my face.
Yeah. It's like, okay, Madeline Kahn, maybe not good at improv, or maybe she's acting like she's not good at improv, but it makes it funnier. It makes it 10 times funnier.
It might be perfect improv.
It's just so good.
Because it absolutely fits her character.
Yeah.
She's so angry that she can't get the words out.
Yeah. There are so many really, really great gags in this.
The Christopher Lloyd being so funny when he's not delivering any dialogue. One prime example of that I was noticing this time around is just how every opportunity he can, because Professor Plum's whole thing is that he's a doctor of psychiatry who is doing things that he was not supposed to be doing with his female patients. Mm-hmm. And every single chance that he gets, he is looking at tits.
Oh, absolutely.
Every single moment
with Yvette,
where he is not just Yvette, Scarlett too, and I think Mrs. White at one point.
Yeah.
Like, anytime he is at an angle where he can be staring at boobs, he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it's a movie that's just like has such perfect like rat-a-tat like farcical dialogue.
Yes.
And such great physical comedy.
Yeah, as I've said, this really reminds me of a Neil Simon play.
Yes.
I've done 2 Neil Simon plays, and I love reading his work because it's just so funny. And this has, as you said, the rat-a-tat style where the dialogue is almost overlapping, but it's just a bunch of characters can say a bunch of different stuff, and each one is its own hilarious line of dialogue. And no matter how many times you rewatch it, you're always going to catch new lines. But holy fuck, that's a really funny line.
Yeah,
it's so dense. It's so well done.
The bit where Tim Curry is talking to Christopher Lloyd, and he's like, "You were once a doctor of psychology, specializing in homicidal lunatics with delusions of grandeur. Yes, but now I work for the UN, so your work has not changed."
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of, oh my god. Personally, Tim Curry, I think, is both the team captain and the MVP of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Tim Curry, so
I've just learned that he's hot.
Yo, you know what? I had to have like a full-on conversation with a roommate last night where he was like, why is this man hot? And I was like, I'm sorry, do you not know who Dr. Frankenfurter is? And then they were like, yeah, but they weren't hot. And then I was like, I'm sorry? Did you see their legs? Because they were incredible.
Frankenfurter is hot.
Frankenfurter
is hot as fuck.
Frankenfurter has huge BDE.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Smash.
The Riz.
The Rizzler.
As the kids say.
The Rizzler. But, yeah, Tim Curry...
What does Riz stand for again?
Charisma.
Charisma, that's right.
Yeah.
You sound old.
I know.
Got him.
I knew as soon as I was going to ask, I was like, yeah, I'm going to sound old, but I don't care. Because it's like, what, Riz is charisma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Riz is a good one. Riz is some of my favorite young person slang from
I do use Riz.
Yeah, I love the taking an L,
Taking an L is good.
Yeah, taking an L.
What's that mean? Taking a loss?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
guessing. I don't use that one.
He uses that one.
Yeah, he uses taking an L.
L after L from this man.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many great moments of physical comedy in this movie. The collision between Michael McKean,
great stage fall.
Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, and the woman who plays Yvette, whose name I do not know. She's very funny.
Camp.
She's funny and so hot.
She's so
that was in roommate's other question was, why is she wearing a maid's costume that short? And I said, well, why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's the correct response to that.
Also, if you watch the film, she is a lady of the night, as we all learn.
God bless her.
But the collision,
all those who sail under her.
Beautiful. The collision that they have at the top of the stairs is so funny. All of this is the thing that really like makes this play like a Neil Simon farce, like a stage farce, is the ending of the movie where you have Tim Curry run back the events of the movie. On fast forward, essentially. He's reenacting everything. And this is kind of why I say that this is also just like a great example of a like locked door mystery.
Yeah.
Is you get your like detective explains all sequence at the end.
Yeah.
But it's got that extra farcical twist on it where the detective is explaining all as he runs all around the house and throws Michael McKean all over the place.
Throws him into the bathroom. Door closes. He comes out.
Washing
toilet
his hands.
Flushes.
Well, also right before he throws him into the bathroom, Michael McKean goes, "Can you stop that?" No. Keeps doing it.
That is so fun. You know what I really like about that whole sequence is Tim Curry gets to go full on theater mode. So he's a theater actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And what I love about that, especially when he's running up the staircase, trips, then keeps going and goes, and he just delivers this sort of gusto where I can 1000% imagine him performing it that same way on a stage.
Yeah.
And it's great that when film actors get to play to the cheap seats. And it's fun seeing Tim Curry in his element, because watching this, I'm like, this would be a great play. And it is a play.
Do you know what kept reminding me of you guys? Every
Please.
time they said communism was just a red herring.
Communism was a red herring.
Every time I was just like, the film majors.
Yeah, exactly.
Communism was just a red herring.
My wife, she was friends with socialists.
That is...
We all make mistakes.
That is the entire third act of Oppenheimer.
That is.
Yeah, it really
My
is.
wife, she had friends who were socialists.
Okay, wait, but my other one that I really liked, which I was awake for here,
Go off, King.
was Mr. Green. So it was you. I was going to expose you. And Wadsworth said, I know, so I chose to expose it myself. And then Colonel Mustard said, please, there are ladies present.
Please,
but,
yeah.
but as soon as he said, I choose to expose myself, I was like, like in my seat.
Yeah. The Zucker humor is strong for sure. Like when they're at the dinner table and they're passing around and they're talking about Rupert Kipling. But right then, as Mustard goes and says, do you like Kipling? And she goes, I'll try anything, and like takes something to eat.
Yeah.
That
Or
is so funny.
The bit where Miss Peacock, who's also so funny,
She's great.
says to Yvette, excuse me, could I find the ladies' room? And then Yvette goes, oui, it is in the hall. No, I just need to powder my nose.
Yeah, there's lots of good, awful dad puns.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Which I love. I love a good pun.
Yeah, this
They're the
movie
best.
has many that just like kill. But for my money, the funniest sequence in this whole movie is when the cop shows up and they all have to pretend that several murders have not taken place. And they have Mr. Green go lead the cop around the rest of the house, and then he wants to see what's in the study, and in the study are the bodies of the cook and Mr. Body. And Mr. Green tries to stop the cop. The cop's like, why can't I go in there? Because it's just too shocking.
It's all too shocking.
And then he opens the door, and they are full-on Weekend at Bernie's-ing the bodies of the cook and
Yeah.
Mr. Body.
Holding
Mrs.
open
White
her eyelids.
is like puppeteering Mr. Body's hand and making out with his corpse. And Colonel Mustard is like canoodling with the cook as behind the curtains Miss Peacock holds her eyelids open. And the cop is like, oh, there's nothing so shocking about this. This is just a bunch of people having a good time. And beside him, Mr. Green is just like so traumatized.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. You know what I hope doesn't happen? Is something that was announced a few years ago.
Oh, that they're going to remake it?
Yeah.
Of course they are. Sons of bitches.
Do you know who was supposed to be in it at a time?
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Spare me.
The two cast members listed on Letterboxd
Chris
are...
Pratt?
No, Jason Bateman and Ryan Reynolds.
Jason Bateman would be good.
Well, like, we already have our kind of, like, farcical mystery thriller with Jason Bateman. It's called Game Night. We talked about it on this show, and it's really good.
Yeah.
It's just, we don't need a remake of Clue.
Yeah, the reason we don't need a remake of Clue, I want to commend the filmmakers, and specifically Jonathan Lynn, who they really had like kind of the tough task of, I guess, what Margot Robbie's about to have with Monopoly, of this is a board game. How do we make like a game of colors and rooms like a movie? Like how to Professor Plum and Mustard and Green, like these are just colors. These aren't characters. What do we do with that? And originally, what is his name? He was the producer on this. He's the guy that killed people with the helicopter crash.
Oh, John Landis.
Right. John Landis was going to direct this, and then at the last second couldn't do it. Gave it to Jonathan Lynn to do. And he kind of cracked the story because he was working on it. So that's why he moved up into the director position and basically realizing, well, if I set this in New England in the 50s during McCarthyism, that is perfect for people that are trying to keep their dirty laundry hidden. And so
you pin everything on somebody else.
So that's why there's so much jokes about communism and socialism. Everything's a red herring. That's why everyone works at Washington. It's because this is the perfect time of paranoia.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool that there's nothing in the game of Clue that's anything about that. But they use the game as a tool to explore other nonsensical stories, which is exactly all of McCarthyism, was just a bunch of bullshit and red herrings. And Jonathan Lynn directed one of our favorite comedies, My Cousin Vinny.
Oh,
yeah.
Slay.
I still need to see
Love it.
Very good.
I love Mrs. White. She says probably one of the most important things a woman can ever say on camera, which is, husband should be like Kleenex, soft, strong, and disposable.
That's exactly correct. That is exactly correct.
Yeah. Oh my God. She is so funny. Also, the whole bit where she's talking to Colonel Mustard and he's like, "You lure men to their deaths like a spider with flies. Flies are where men are their weakest." Which I hadn't picked up on until this movie, until this watch. Yeah,
it's I love it when Colonel Mustard said, "How did you come into your fortune?" "I won it all when I came back from the war and lost my mommy and daddy." So good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Clue, it's on Pluto TV for free. You should be watching it. This movie is
on Pluto.
Cluedo's on Pluto. Cluedo's such a dumb fucking name.
So we talked.
Why is it called Cluedo?
I don't know. So I was making dinner for my girlfriend, and I bought a bottle of wine where she had never seen Clue before, and she loves everyone that's in it. She ended up loving the movie, and she was like, "Huh, you guys call it Clue?" I go, "Yeah, that's
what
the
it's
name
called.
of the game. That's the name of the game." She goes, "Yeah, we call it Cluedo."
What?
And I went, "Why?" She went, "I don't know."
Because the British will never...
They have to add a little something to it.
They will never pass on a chance to make a word fucking stupid.
That's true. That's true.
Is this a cookie or is it a jammy dodger?
It's a jammy dog. I call them jelly willies.
Like a fucking, I don't even know what it is, but the fact that they call something spotted dick is just wrong.
Yeah.
What is
just
spotted
wrong.
dick? Is that a sausage?
And it's a sign that you should speak to your doctor.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you. You're giving Clue humor. It's
Thank
contagious.
you. I wish I could be giving Clue humor. Good Lord, this movie's funny.
You know what? I want to shout out my government teacher for calling me Professor Plum for like a whole semester, and me genuinely not knowing that was from Clue, and just thinking that this man was calling me Professor Plum for no reason other than wearing a purple cardigan every day.
He must think I'm smart.
I can feel it in my plums.
Wow.
I mean, again,
what was their name?
Mr. Patterson?
Mr. Patterson
past and future guest Mr. Drew Patterson
called you Professor Plum.
I mean, it's an appropriate nickname because, Alexis can and will be horny about about anybody.
I know. Professor Plum is like the horny pervert of the group, and there you are.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Representation.
I know.
It matters.
But hey, as I said, Professor Plum, Christopher Lloyd, was MVP.
Aww.
Lifeblood of the podcast.
So in order to be an MVP of something, you have to be a horny little freak.
Okay.
So pay attention, basketball players.
Does not extend to Napoleon. Okay.
He was the MVP.
He was the MVP of France. A country of horny freaks.
True.
Oh, man. Okay, also, the bit where they're talking about searching the house by themselves... And Yvette is like, I would like someone to go with me. And Colonel Mustard and Professor Plum are both like, I will. And Mr. Green, no thank you.
That's so good. No thank you. Like, he says, like, not... Because at that point, the question isn't, like, will you help me search the house is like, who here will fuck me? Like, that's kind of what it is. I'll do it. No, thank you. Like, it's just so, with such disgust.
He's not into that.
But no, actually, it turns out he's just faithful to his wife. That's what that actually means.
I'm not going to lie. That line enters my brain on at least a monthly basis.
I know, because sometimes you'll leave the apartment going, all right, see you later, Zach. I'm going to go have
sleep
sex
with my wife. I have left the apartment.
Yeah, I know.
There's also so many good Scooby-Doo runs in this movie.
The running is great. Like, there's so...
That's like how I run when I'm not being serious about running. Just almost like flailing arms.
Good.
Nice. How often do you run and you're not serious about it?
Often.
So that's just how you run.
It's true. I've seen it.
I
can just imagine Alexis. It's like the treadmill.
Serious about running is on the treadmill. Is probably the only time.
Real.
But that's only because a lot of people are watching me. Now, especially if my sister is only watching me, I'm definitely running like a stupid fucking idiot. 100%.
Nice.
You know, you got to zigzag to confuse them.
Absolutely.
You do. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's a good reference. The good and the bad and the weird. I picked up on that. You got to zigzag or they won't get you. We should watch that movie.
It's good. It's really good.
It's a Korean film about, it's like this adventure Western. It's so fucking good.
You had me at Korea.
One of my favorite, like, slapstick visual gags is when the power goes out, and I think it's Mrs. White is screaming, and the butler, he's Wadsworth. He's like going on like, I'm screaming. I'll get you. I'll come. Here's a door. Another door, and then turns the knob, and it's a shower. It's just like, that always gets me.
And I always forget that's in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's not one of the
What's
gags.
This? Another door?
It's so funny. Real quick, I also just want to shout out that this is a movie with, like, genuinely really good craft. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
It's rare that you get a comedy that looks this good these days. I would say you pretty much don't.
Yeah, I mean, so, God, I go in on Judd Apatow so much. I shouldn't do it.
I like Judd Apatow's.
I do, but
I like a lot more movies that he's produced than he directed.
I think he just created a climate of laziness when it comes to how you make a comedy. I don't know. Like, he does funny stuff, but, like, the whole thing about how, here's what I'm referring to, listeners. He and a bunch of comedians that he works with, like, you know, Will Ferrell, all of, like, the modern folks that we all know and love, they found a way of, like, doing comedy, which is, like, you have your story, and then when you're on the day, you just, like, improvise, like, all of these lines, and then the ones that's, like, funniest, that's what you use, like, in the edit. That's why so often in those films, during the end credits, you see these actors doing outtakes of all these other lines that weren't used.
Which can be very effective.
Which can be very effective and very funny, but the problem is, I think I just prefer when the jokes are baked into the script, because then you can craft it with the edit so much more effectively. Like what we talked about, I forget what episode it was. I think it was Lebowski, about how improvising is great, but man, is that a bitch to fucking edit.
Yeah.
Like, so much comedy can come from really funny cuts. Something that is really good, someone's really good at that is Edgar Wright. So when you know the joke, here's the beat, here's how you say it, here's how you do the inflection, a great comedic actor will know, and they deliver it, you get that craftsmanship that I think you're talking about, on top of all of the great sets and the lighting and everything.
And the cinematographer of Dog Day Afternoon.
That too. That too. Yeah, they shot this whole thing.
And Jingle All the Way.
Ooh.
So, you know,
you had me at Jingle.
A mix of films.
Schwarzenegger?
Yes. Yeah.
Why do I know that?
Yeah, why do you know that?
Why do I know that?
I loved that movie when I was a kid.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
It's real.
Wait, hold on.
That was something I considered for Cursed Christmas.
Does he play Santa?
No.
Okay.
He plays a dad trying to get a superhero toy for his son.
I might have seen that.
It's a really, really nightmarish movie. Anyways, Victor J. Kemper, the DP of this, also shot Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Hey, shout out to my man Pee-wee.
Pee-wee's big.
Can't get into it again.
What do you mean again?
You know what? Actually, Pee-wee's Big Adventure has a really great like ending line too.
It's
no, it's not. No, it's not.
That's
What's
a pretty
the
good Pee-wee
ending
laugh.
line? I'm not giving it to you. What is it, Alexis?
Dottie asks him some questions. Then he says something like, "I don't have to go do that because I lived it." But he says it like very like I don't know.
I don't have to do that, Dottie, because I lived it.
Yeah, no, like he's just so too cool for school.
All
and
right.
it's great. It's great coming from
I
him.
have literally like no frame of reference on Pee Wee Herman. I've seen absolutely none of his stuff.
What? I just don't understand why.
It's
You guys, I feel like we're on a script now.
I can't get into it again. I cannot get into the whole comedy of errors that happened last year with Pee Wee Herman.
You said that he's a really good guy, right?
I don't
He's
know.
your guy.
At this point, I don't know.
I think you
We've
should.
been accused of murdering him.
By who?
Like who?
By you just now.
No, somebody straight up texted me the week after that came out. They were like, "He's dead. Did you guys kill him? Were you just talking about him
We
on your
did not
podcast?"
kill Pee Wee Herman.
Or did we, Zach?
Oh my
Do you have something you'd like to share with us?
I'll have you arrested on grounds of obstructing an officer in the execution of his duties and murder. I was just saying that so you'd open the door.
But the sets are fantastic, and they shot all of this on Paramount Soundstage, which meant that they could shoot in chronological order.
Oh,
Which every time I watch the movie, what I'm always impressed with is like when Tim Curry is doing his summarization of everything.
yeah, when he runs down the entire plot.
The rundown, but not only does he do that, but he also does really good impressions of the other actors. Like, I had to stop her from screaming. Like, does a
after
a
he
pitch
slaps
perfect
Mrs.
Michael
Peacock.
McKean.
Yeah.
And now it makes sense because they had already shot that and they had gone with that's the take we're going to use. So Tim, do that. Do your best impression of that.
Yeah.
And I love that. And that's what's so cool about like when they shot on a soundstage, there's no background. Michael McKean was talking in an interview about what was he said it's one of the most fun experiences he's ever had making a movie because same costume, same actors. They're in everyone is in every scene except for when they split up.
Yeah.
But even then, everyone was on set that day, and he said it felt like a play. It felt like you were just like in this weird town or whatever, and it was so much fun. And you could actually find your characters as the story went on because they shot more or less completely chronologically, which I think kind of helped the comedy of it.
You know what reminded me of you?
What?
You know when at the very beginning Wadsworth is like, "Sit!" And then,
Oh, yeah.
and then
I love that joke.
Mr. Green
down.
just sits down. He
one of
said,
my
"Not
favorite
you, sir." And I thought that would be Mick's first instinct.
I love that's such a good bit. There's a bit. Okay, that reminds me. This is getting. Maybe
Mick's
I had
favorite
ADHD.
boat is a sub.
So that's true. Why are you giggling like that? It's just a fact. That's not even an innuendo.
It's not, but I like it.
All right. So there's this great movie called Running Scared starring Billy Crystal, and he's a cop, and he's in the dark room in a two-way mirror and looking at a lineup, and he's sitting there in the dark, and you see the silhouette of Billy Crystal, and the other cop is like, "All right, we're going to get a picture of you from the front. Click. All right. Turn to your right." And Billy Crystal, who's a cop, just like turns to the right immediately. It's fucking fun. I love those bits, man. It's just stupid. I just like stupid humor. I don't know.
Who doesn't?
But like well constructed stupid.
Yes.
Yes. Like I'm sorry. I don't like Step Brothers.
I'm not
Same.
a big Step Brothers
Do you
guy
not like it either?
Not. I would say that it has lost its luster. I think that when it first came out, that about half of the jokes I really liked. It was of its time.
Yeah, I didn't
But I
watch
mean,
it
like,
at the time.
I
did-
love Dodgeball.
See, here's the thing. I did watch it at the time, and I was of the age, and I didn't dig it.
Yeah, well,
It was weird.
I mean, you do hate fun.
It's true.
You know who else I want to shout out on this movie real quick is the late, great John Morris, who was the composer on this film. This film has a wonderful score.
Didn't have a lot to do though. They don't. I mean, there's not a lot of music in it.
But the music is very impactful in this movie. Like the cop score that comes up three times
good.
At the end, and
when it's
like
used as a
little
joke.
like light piano score when they're running around the house.
Yeah.
I find this to be a very memorable score. And for Film Majors listeners, John Morris also did the score last comedy month with Madeline Kahn, Blazing Saddles. He was...
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was Mel Brooks's guy. He did Young
very
Frankenstein and The Producers and Spaceballs, History of the World. And then also did The Elephant Man for David Lynch.
Wow.
Which...
That has really good music.
I haven't seen it.
It's on the shelf. It isn't, actually.
No, it's not.
No, I'm thinking
Eraserhead
Eraserhead.
is on the shelf.
I need to get Elephant Man.
But little fun trivia fact about The Elephant Man, just because we're here. Mel Brooks produced that movie.
That's true.
Yeah, took his name off it.
Yeah. Why?
Because he didn't want to confuse audiences.
All right.
He didn't want audiences to be like, what is some Mel Brooks thing?
Oh, so for the benefit of the film.
Yes, for the benefit of the film, he took his name off it.
Right, yeah. Because like he, at that point, his name is like
so
a brand.
associated with comedy. Yeah,
we should really do Young Frankenstein for a comedy month.
I don't love that movie.
Really?
I rewatched it last year, and it didn't do a lot for me.
Really?
Yeah.
See, what I love about that is it's satire, but it's 100% like one of the best Frankenstein movies ever made.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the original 2 Frankenstein movies, and those are kind of the Frankenstein
Boris.
that I need and love. Yeah, they're
Karloff.
so good. That's not related to Clue, which is a very funny movie.
Yeah, very, very funny movie. Can I air a grievance? And I want to hear what
Air your grievance.
I don't love the actor who plays Mr. Body.
Yeah, he's definitely the least impactful person in this movie, but he does make
dies first.
He does make a really funny getting kneed in the balls face.
Yeah. Lee Ving is his name. Just putting that out there.
Are you kidding me?
Lee Ving. Yeah.
His name is Lee Ving?
Lee space Ving.
You're fucking joking me. That is a cartoon name.
That's a cartoon name.
That isn't. Oh my god.
But you know what's funny is when we were watching this.
He did.
When Jacoby was watching a little bit of it with us, he was like, "That's like a discount Robert De Niro." I was like, "Yeah."
LOL.
I hadn't thought about that, but Mr. Body
kind of
is kind of like, I don't know. I just never. Every time I watch this movie, when we find, because they're kind of, we have this huge ensemble cast of great comedic actors. And we keep talking about, okay, when are we going to finally meet our host? When are we going to meet our host? Where's this other guy? And we finally do. And there's always a little part of it that's like, who are they going to have play this? Leaving.
I guess that's a fair point. Because they do build up to that really hard. I understand that's kind of like the role where you just need a guy to kind of be like a son of a bitch and then he dies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, if they had gotten, I don't know. Like
Robert De Niro, actually. I think that would have been distracting.
No, I was going to say something like John Belushi or something.
I might have been dead at that point.
Was he? 85?
85? I don't know. When did John Belushi die? Anyways.
Siri?
After 85, I think.
Okay.
Oh. John Candy. John Candy would have been great.
John Candy would not have worked.
Really?
Yeah, as the menacing guy who's blackmailing people, lovable John Candy.
See, I think this kind of like pinpoints the difference between how you and I like. I mean, you really like it because it's a good story. To me, it's purely like comedy. So I'm like, put the funniest guy in there, make me laugh.
No, but it would disrupt the comedy of the thing as well. Like, I don't know, who would be. You know who could be Mr. Body if you want to cast an 80s comedian?
Uh-huh.
And this is a guy who I generally do not like, quite frankly.
Oh, is it
Chevy Chase?
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase would have been, if you want to cast an actually famous guy as Mr. Body, he never would do it because he never would have done it because he had too much of a fucking ego. But
he's such a good asshole.
Chevy Chase is like a guy who you see him and you're like, this guy is kind of a prick.
He is a prick. I'd agree with you. Yeah, you're right. You need someone who's a dick.
Yeah, that's my alternative casting for Mr. Body.
Interesting. Okay.
Alexis, any alternates?
No alternates, but I would like to issue an immediate correction corner for myself.
Correction corner.
John Belushi died in 1982, so he was in fact already dead by the time this movie was made.
God.
Yeah, he was only 33.
Man.
Rip.
Yeah.
Wrong kid died.
Is that the famous what age that people die at? Or is
No,
that
27.
That's 27. Wow, wow, Belushi, good job. Made it past the hump.
Do we have anything else about Clue? Or do we want to get out here?
Maybe we should roll out the door on that note.
Yeah. Let's fucking toss the body on the couch.
Oh, man.
Let's toss the body of Comedy Month.
Oh, yeah.
On the couch.
Oh.
Do I hear something?
Oh, no.
On the horizon?
Oh, my God. What is that?
It's like the crashing of waves.
Oh, my God.
Something.
What's tearing through the salty breeze?
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, we are hopping on to an old wooden vessel.
Oh, my God.
And we are casting off. We're taking up anchor. And we're... Twist. We are not heading out to sea. What is this? No, Zach, no.
What's happening right now?
What is happening?
Actually, we're going to go upriver.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
I'm getting fucked on the ocean? I'm not going to get any goddamn ocean this boat month? Are you fucking joking?
Okay, let me put it to this way.
No Muppets?
Okay, calm down.
Oh my God!
Calm down.
Fuck!
So, here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I don't want to put the whole, plan out there, but we're going to have a riverboat trilogy.
Son of a bitch.
But...
we have to watch 3 movies before next week?
We're going to stop off at different stops because we're going to go to the Alexis dock and we're going to go to the Zack dock. But our first journey is we're going up the Mekong River in the 1979 Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now Redux.
Okay.
We are watching the Redux version.
I don't know what this means.
He's recut the movie a couple times.
And this is the latest cut, where it's not the shortest, it's not the longest, it's the one that he thinks is the best version.
Right.
Yeah, because he did the director's cut, or final cut, I think it was called, and he then rewatched it and thought, this is too long. I don't need this. So then he cut it again. We get Redux. So to start off boat month, we're going upriver with Apocalypse Now. And this is one of my all-time favorites. In fact, we were talking
Never seen it.
We were talking about, treat yourself movies. This is another one where I can always put it on and I'm always blown away by how good it is.
Okay. Well, if you're a listener and you don't have this film on Blu-ray, you're going to be shit out of luck finding the Redux. But you can find Apocalypse Now wherever you rent your movies.
Is Redux not on streaming?
Doesn't look like it. No.
That's sad.
Am I going to have to go to the goddamn, movie... I want to say movie place, but that's not right.
The movie hole.
The movie place.
You
know what
the
you could
movie
do?
Store. The film store.
You know what, Alexis? You know what you could do?
Huh?
After work tomorrow, you could come over and you could watch Apocalypse Now Redux because we have it on the shelf.
Crazy. I need to be back home.
It's only 3 hours. What are you talking about?
God,
the 3 hours that it would take me to get back home
How
so I
long
can
is it,
sleep in
though?
my own bed tomorrow night.
Longer than 3 hours.
Is it really?
It's 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah, you guys are fucking high. And I know Zach doesn't get high.
Buckle up, folks. We got a long one for this next one, but it is so good. It is well worth your time.
Yes, it's a 1979 film directed by Francis Ford Coppola, starring Martin Sheen. And find it wherever you rent your movies. And if you want to find us, the Filmmakers, on social media, you can find us at Filmmakers Pod on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And our TikTok should be back up pretty soon. All right.
Exciting.
And with that...
We'll see you next year, Comedy Month.
We'll see you down Riverboat Month.
Bye.